As you know, it is Weed Week here on the show, and we've been bringing on some of the industry's top experts and top execs to lay out the opportunities lighting up the space. Today, we are taking a look at Green Thumb, which reported better than expected earnings yesterday after the bell. CEO Bruce Kovler joins us now to close out our special Weed Week series. Ben, great to see you again. Welcome.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for having me back.
The analysts were very enthusiastic about the earnings report. One of the highlights of the report, Ben, was retail revenues up 15.2% quarter on quarter, mainly on 6 new store openings, 2 in Illinois, which just kicked off adult use in January. I'm wondering, how do you think about store openings, especially in this sort of dicey economic environment right now?
For sure. Something the team spends a lot of time on, but stepping back, this is early innings for U.S. cannabis, and the U.S. consumer is interested in this product. So there is a lot of demand, particularly east of the Mississippi. And so we're fortunate to be able to open up stores in Illinois, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, New Jersey, et cetera, as the U.S. consumer's demand is met for cannabis.
Is there a number in mind, X number of stores by the end of the year?
Oh, well, we have 48 stores today. It's a little hard to give precise guidance with COVID and a lot of inspections and things, but we continue to ramp. We continue to look for sites. Construction is ongoing, and we will continue to open stores. Your
margins were also strong, 53.2% gross margin. Some analysts are saying that there's possibly incremental margin upside to the story here. What do you see as the primary driver of margin expansion at this point? Is it more expansion into the higher margin geographies? Is it expanding into the areas where you have a great production capacity?
Yeah, core to our thesis is this is a branded consumer product. And as we scale production, large-scale production of consumer products, making more branded products like dog walkers, Bebo, Incredibles, Rhythm, we can drive down the marginal cost and drive up the gross margin, to your question. So again, early innings. Look at Illinois. The run rate is now at a record high of $1 billion on an annual basis. And we think there's much, much more upside to come. And that doesn't take into account states like Pennsylvania or New Jersey, Connecticut, et cetera.
Hey, Ben, it's Tim. Thanks for coming on. And again, right states at the right time seems to have been how GTI has done this. Your profitability is also what separates you from many and not most of the players in the industry. How should investors who've been, many have been burned, many have been disappointed by investing in cannabis stocks, how should they value your company? And in other words, what is the most important valuation metric? I think ultimately it's free cash flow, but I'd love to hear from you what investors should be following as they look at Green Thumb.
That's a great question. Thanks, Tim. Really, you want to partner alongside management that's aligned with shareholders whose mission it is to drive long-term shareholder value, and that's top and bottom line growth. The industry's evolved in terms of how investors are viewing valuation, from licenses to revenue to EBITDA to now what you said of free cash flow generation, which Green Thumb is doing. We are profitable, generating free cash. I think you need to look at the size of the opportunity. This is very early. Yep. There are many multi-billion-dollar markets being opened across the country in states, and Green Thumb is well positioned for those. So if you look at the market size opportunity, if you look at multiple of EBITDA, if you look at free cash flow generation or growth, any way you slice and dice it, U.S. cannabis is cheap.
Ben, great to speak with you. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you
Thanks,
soon.
Melissa. Thanks, everyone.
Ben Kovler, Green Thumb Industries. Tim, you were excited about this earnings report. It's amazing how the conversation has changed from a couple of years ago when cannabis was sort of the speculative play, and now we're talking about free cash flow in margins with these companies.
Yeah, and again, full disclosure, I'm long GTI, and I think you brought up also just the sales growth. I mean, same store sales in stores that are open more than 12 months, up 75%. So the ticket sizes are higher. Like, there's no question this is early stage, and there's no question we don't really know where demand is, but it's only moving in one direction. And the excitement that was around the sector was a little bit clouded by the realities of capital markets. But there are companies that are executing here, and GTI is one of them.